Imagine this. You're stepping out onto your own sun-drenched terrace, maybe overlooking the Med. Vibrant Spanish culture, just a walk away, that amazing food. For so many people, that dream of, say, a second home in Spain, or maybe a smart investment, or even packing up entirely, it feels just unobtainable.
It does. It feels like a huge leap.
But what if it wasn't?
Exactly. It's a powerful dream, sure, but it's actually, well, surprisingly within reach for many.
That's precisely why today we're doing a deep dive. We're unpacking the whole process of buying property in Spain if you're a foreigner.
Right.
And we're not just, listing steps 1, 2, 3. We've drawn on insights from top Spanish real estate experts.
That's the key.
So you understand not just what to do, but why each step is, frankly, the smart move for securing that Spanish dream.
Yes, and our mission here really is to cut through the complexity, demystify it all.
Okay.
We want to clarify why Spain is still such a hot spot for property investment and really highlight the key things you need to watch out for to make sure the whole thing goes smoothly.
Consider it your shortcut to getting properly informed.
Precisely.
So let's kick things off. Beyond the obvious sun and, lovely beaches, what is it about Spain that pulls in so many international buyers right now?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. It's how all these different factors kind of mesh together. It's not just a lifestyle choice anymore. It's often a really solid strategic move.
Okay.
So yes, you've got that amazing Mediterranean climate, obviously, but the quality of life overall is a huge draw. People talk about the relaxed pace, the healthcare system, which is generally high quality, and pretty solid infrastructure, too. It just works well for daily life.
And it's clearly more than just lifestyle, isn't it? I mean, the property market itself seems to have a compelling story.
It really does. It's shown, well, quite a bit of resilience. And we are seeing definite growth opportunities.
Whereabouts mainly?
Particularly in those ever-popular coastal areas, the Costas, and also in the big high-demand cities.
Right.
And there's another layer for non-EU investors, a big one, the Golden Visa program.
Ah, yes. Tell us about that.
It basically makes getting Spanish residency much easier if you buy property above a certain value.
Which is?
Typically, it kicks in for properties valued at $500,000 or more. And a really key point here, strategically, is that it can cover the investor's whole family.
Oh, wow. The whole family.
The whole family. So it's a potential pathway to European residency for everyone included.
That is a significant strategic plus. And you've also got great connectivity, right? Flights are easy.
Absolutely. Excellent air links across Europe and, frankly, the world. Makes it super accessible, whether you're planning to live there part-time or full-time.
And the price. Still competitive.
Generally, yes. Compared to, say, other popular spots in Europe, Spanish property often still offers, pretty good value for money.
Okay, so Spain's appeal is clear. Strong value proposition too. But how do you actually make that jump from dreaming about it to actually doing it? That brings us to those first absolute crucial steps. The non-negotiables.
Yes. And the very first thing, arguably the most critical piece you need, is your NIE.
NIE.
Correct. It stands for Número de Identificación de Extranjero, Foreigner's Identification Number.
Okay.
And look, this isn't just some random number. It's your absolute key, your gateway to any significant financial or legal activity in Spain. Buying property, paying taxes, setting up utilities.
So like a fiscal passport, you said earlier.
Exactly that, your unique identifier for everything official.
That sounds fundamental, but maybe a bit daunting. For listeners picturing endless queues and paperwork, how does it actually work? Is it straightforward?
It's generally quite manageable, but you do need to be, let's say, meticulous. Pay attention to the details.
Where do you get it?
You can apply directly at designated police stations in Spain. Or, often more conveniently, you can do it at a Spanish embassy or consulate in your home country before you even travel. The main thing is just gathering all the right documents beforehand. That avoids delays. And pretty much hand in hand with the NIE, you absolutely need to open a Spanish bank account.
Why specifically Spanish?
Well, it's essential for handling the deposit, paying the taxes related to the purchase, setting up direct debits for utilities, community fees, all that stuff.
Yep.
Honestly, without both that NIE and a Spanish bank account, your property purchase journey just can't officially start. It stalls right there.
So get the NIE, get the bank account, foundational blocks in place. Then I guess comes the exciting bit, the actual property search.
Yes, now you can start looking.
Right.
And the sources we looked at really highlight the sheer variety. You've got everything from, charming coastal apartments to these incredible luxury villas, or maybe something completely different, like a peaceful rural finca, an estate.
And popular areas mentioned were Costa Blanca, Costa Calida.
Those are definitely hot spots, yeah. Very popular with international buyers, lots of choice there.
Okay, so you find the one, you make an offer, it gets accepted. What happens next? Is it straight to the final contract?
Not quite yet. The very next step is signing something called a contrato de arras.
Contrato de arras, yeah.
Think of it as a reservation contract or a preliminary purchase agreement. It basically binds both you and the seller to the deal. It makes it official.
Right, so this is where you really lock it down. Does money change hands here?
Yes, absolutely. This is typically when you'll pay the deposit.
And how much is that usually?
The standard is usually 10% of the agreed purchase price.
Okay.
And this contrato de arras, it's important not just for the deposit, it also formally sets the deadline, the date by which you have to complete the purchase and sign the final public deed, the escritura.
So it sets the clock ticking.
Exactly. Puts a time frame on everything leading up to the final handover.
Okay, that reservation contract is signed, deposit paid. Exciting. But then comes a phase you stressed is critical for protecting your investment.
Absolutely.
Due diligence. The legal checks. This is where you avoid potential nightmares, right?
Yeah. You've hit the nail on the head. It's crucial. Now, technically, hiring a specialist property lawyer isn't legally required in Spain.
Oh, really?
No. But, and this is a big but, it is very strongly recommended. I'd almost say essential for proper protection.
Why? What exactly do they do?
Well, a good property lawyer digs into everything. They verify that the property is completely free of debts, lints, any kind of encumbrances. They check that all the planning permissions and licenses are correct and up to date.
Okay.
And, crucially, they confirm 100% that the person selling the property is the actual, undisputed legal owner.
Right, you don't want any surprises there.
Exactly. This due diligence is your safety net. It protects you from inheriting problems or finding out something's wrong after you've paid.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
What about getting finance? If you're not a resident, can you get a mortgage from a Spanish bank?
Yes, you definitely can. Spanish banks are quite used to lending to non-residents.
Okay.
However, there's a slight difference. Typically, for non-residents, they'll finance maybe 60% to 70% of the property's official valuation price.
Not the full purchase price necessarily.
Not usually the purchase price, the valuation. And it's less than they might offer a resident who could maybe get 80% or sometimes more. It reflects a slightly different risk calculation for the bank.
Got it. So you need a larger deposit or more cash up front?
Generally, yes. And another tip, it's really smart to seek mortgage pre-approval before you even start seriously looking at properties.
Why is that?
It just gives you a very clear, realistic budget to work with from the outset. No guesswork, you know exactly what you can afford.
Good advice. Okay, so we've searched, reserved, done the due diligence, sorted the finance. We must be getting close to the end now.
You are. We're at the final, really significant moment, signing the public deed, the escritura publica, before a notary.
This sounds like the big day, the handover.
It absolutely is. This is the point where ownership legally transfers.
Who needs to be there?
Well, you as the buyer, the seller, or sometimes their legal representatives if they can't attend personally, and the notary, of course. And ideally, your lawyer should be there with you too.
Right. And this is when the rest of the money is paid.
Exactly. The balance of the purchase price is paid at this meeting. And then the best part, you officially receive the keys to your new Spanish home.
Fantastic. Keys in hand. But wait, it's not quite over yet, is it? There's registration and taxes.
Correct. Immediately after signing, the deed needs to be officially registered at the land registry. That makes your ownership public record.
Okay. And taxes. Let's brace ourselves. What are the main ones?
It depends slightly. If you're buying a resale property, so from a previous owner, you'll pay transfer tax. It's called ITP Impuesto sobre Transmisiones Patrimoniales. The rate varies by region, but it's typically somewhere between 6% and 10%.
Okay, 6 to 10% for resale. What about brand new properties?
For new builds, it's different. You pay VAT, which is called IVA in Spain, currently at 10%.
10% VAT.
Plus, you also pay stamp duty AJD, actos jurídicos documentados. This also varies by region, but it's usually between 0.5% and 1.5%.
Okay, so VAT plus stamp duty for new.
Right.
And anything else? Fees.
Yes. You also have the notary fees and the land registry fees themselves. These are set by the government based on the property price, so they're regulated.
Right. So if you add all that up, the ITP or the VAT stamp duty plus notary plus registry, what does that mean for someone trying to figure out the total cost beyond just the price tag on the property listing?
That's a really important question because those costs add up. Beyond the actual agreed purchase price, you absolutely need to budget for these extras.
Like what else?
Well, your lawyer's fees, obviously, those notary and registry fees we just mentioned. If you got a mortgage, there's likely a valuation fee from the bank.
Okay.
All in all, as a general rule of thumb, you should probably budget for an additional 10% to 15% on top of the property price to cover all these taxes and fees.
Wow, 10 to 15% extra. That's a significant chunk. Good heads up.
It is. Better to know upfront. And one more thing, particularly if you're buying an apartment or a townhouse within a complex.
Yes.
You'll usually become part of a community of owners, comunidad de propietarios.
Like a homeowners association.
Exactly, and that comes with regular fees for maintaining common areas, pools, gardens, lifts, that sort of thing.
Right.
So it's really important that your lawyer checks before you sign that the previous owner is fully paid up on these community fees. You don't want to inherit their debts.
Good point. Definitely don't want to be paying someone else's old water bill. Okay, let's try and wrap things up with some quick answers to common questions, just rapid fire. First one, do you absolutely have to be a Spanish resident to buy property there?
No, definitely not. As we said, just need your NIE number and a Spanish bank account.
Okay. How long does the whole buying process typically take? From signing that initial reservation contract, the arras, to getting the keys at the notary?
Usually somewhere between 2 and 4 months. It can vary, though, depends on complexity, if financing is involved, how quick documents come through.
Right. Is hiring a Spanish lawyer compulsory?
Legally, no. Practically, yes. As we discussed, it's not obligatory, but it's so strongly recommended for due diligence and just protecting your interests. Don't skip it.
Got it. And just to confirm again, non-residents can get a mortgage in Spain.
Yes, they can, but remember, banks will typically only finance around 60% to 70% of the property's official valuation for non-residents.
Okay. And lastly, bit of practical advice.
Yeah.
If you're totally new to Spain, don't know the areas or the market, how do you even start finding the right property?
Best bet. Work with a reputable, trustworthy real estate agency. Someone with deep local knowledge who knows the nuances of the area you're interested in and has a wide range of properties to show you. Their guidance can be invaluable.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's quickly recap the absolute must-knows from this deep dive. Number 1, getting that NIE number and opening a Spanish bank account. Non-negotiable first steps.
Absolutely fundamental.
Number 2, due diligence. Getting a specialist lawyer to check everything is vital. It's your main protection.
Cannot stress that enough.
Number 3, understand the taxes. Know the difference between ITP for resales and VAT plus stamp duty for new builds.
And budget for them.
Right, which leads to number 4. Remember to budget that extra 10% to 15% overall for all the associated fees and taxes on top of the property price.
Crucial for financial planning.
And finally, the typical timeline. Expect the process to take roughly 2 to 4 months from reservation to completion.
That's a realistic time frame, yes. And honestly, navigating all this successfully really comes down to having clear guidance and reliable support.
The right team around you.
Exactly. Makes all the difference in turning that Spanish property dream into a smooth, stress-free reality.
Now, here's something maybe to leave you thinking about. A final thought.
Yeah, consider this. Investing in a Spanish property, it really goes far beyond just being a financial transaction, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, think about the ripple effect.
Right.
It profoundly impacts your lifestyle, obviously, but it also opens doors to integrating into a local community, maybe through those homeowners associations we mentioned. You start connecting, and it offers this incredible opportunity for a whole new cultural experience, learning the language, trying new things. So buying property in Spain, it becomes this really holistic decision. It touches, well, pretty much every part of your life. It's much more than just bricks and mortar.